Hey guys, before we get started with this video, do me a favor, don't forget to thumbs up the video. Our likes are kind of lacking here, so if you don't like the content, just tell me. Morning. Well, this is gonna make this interesting because this is where we gotta go. County is putting some new guardrails in, and they are gonna be right in the way, unfortunately. Sweeping off the concrete pad because we got a load of fertilizer coming. Don't want any of this gravel trying to get in that strip-till bar and plug up our manifold. So we have a broom for our skid steer, and can't forget that. We have to dump some of this fertilizer that's coming, most likely on the ground, on the asphalt. So we're gonna broom the asphalt with this thing so we don't pick up any extra material. So we came over to the house to get the skid steer. So several videos back, someone said that they would trade putting up our new shop for the lumber out of this barn. I don't know if that person was serious or not, and I really never thought much about it, but Dad said he is ready to, I guess, start tearing down the family barn, which shocked the crap out of me, but it is starting to deteriorate and whatnot. So if you're actually interested, email me. I know we would like some of the lumber out of it to finish some of our like our offices and the new shop and whatnot, but I thought maybe if we took it down now and we're able to tie it into the new shop, that would be pretty cool. If you've never seen the insides of this barn, it is in really bad shape. I really don't even want to walk in it, but just a little bit. Did a video on this barn a while back. Really cool old construction. The big ceiling in here. But unfortunately it is sliding down the bank that it is on, and it's just going to eventually fall down. It's probably worked pretty good in the fertilizer barn for about a year, and then I bet it'll just be rusted away. But this thing was cheap. Yeah, it was very cheap and very used. Check out these custom mods. Yeah, we use that for sweeping off the blacktop here at the house. Alright, BJ's getting ready to strip till this field. I went through and basically resurveyed it. I had a setting set wrong in this the first time I did it. But I also went in and named our patterns. So we also have a boundary and these straight lines. So here's our straight, here's our end rows. I tried to keep it pretty simple. So this is the year they were surveyed, and that's the pattern we're doing. So again, we're using identical curve to do this pattern. Our end rows worked beautifully the other day. Hopefully it'll keep working beautifully because I'm liking that quite a bit. So this morning we noticed one of our row cleaners was rubbing this hub on the opener. So we're going to go through and check those. These are just slotted so you can position them in different places if you need to. You can see this one rubbing a little bit. BJ ran this thing for 20 acres and broke it. Yep. So BJ's going to get started. He has enough fertilizer to get a good start before that truck gets here. Just going to run this field right here beside the bins. Dad's going to get to sweeping this. Doesn't look like there's a lot here. This will plug up the strip-till bar. Now it's clean. It's a lot faster of a broom. So old Duggo might have Martin, but we got that thing. Don't think I'd want to use it in the shop though. See if brother remembers how to unfold this thing. So if this is your first time watching, this is a brand new Unverferth Strip-Till bar. This thing was just released at the time you guys watched this a few days ago. Hasn't been released right now. This is April the 4th or 5th? What is this? April the 5th. So before we get started, we are going to put a little bit more pressure on our closing wheels. Basically, you just pull this pin, lift this up. I do need 2 hands, but it's a pretty simple process. Drop one of these spacers down there, it gets a little bit more pressure on the closing system. And now we're getting our variable rate pulled up. Oh look, I just did that for you.
Look at that.
Yeah, isn't it pretty?
When you look at it.
Goofy shaped field. Alright, we are applicating. So here's our universal screen. You see those numbers turning red? That's where the rate is dropping as we are entering different coverage zones. So right here, you can see the different zones we're going through, different shades of blue. Those all have different rates. By variable rating, we are putting fertilizer where we need it. We're not necessarily saving a whole lot because there's parts of the field that need way more than what we were applying. And there's other parts of the field that, according to the soil test, need way less than we were applying. So
more efficient use of our money there too.
Yes, it should equal a more uniformed yield map in the fall, we hope. And I'm gonna get out and make sure we're steering well. That's user error, but I want to get past there where we got straight and make sure that we are 30 inches apart, because we're doing this with a 24-row planter, which is 60 foot wide, and a 40 foot wide strip-till bar, so we need our steering to be pretty much dead on. Now this again is where BJ wasn't straight when he started this pass, but up here we should be good. Looks like it's steering pretty well. Now this is on RTK, but if we need to adjust some settings in the tractor, it's not going to matter. So there could be an offset we didn't know about or something like that. Or maybe the implement has an offset we didn't know about. So that's why I want to double check. But I think we're pretty good. Like, can you tell where this bar ends right here? Like this pass looks the same width as this pass, looks the same width as this pass and this pass. So I think we're good, but we're going to be sure. Get back in there, buddy. Here, get back in there. Get back in there. Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, look, you're safe. Perfect. Now we are running our boundaries on the strip-till bar. So part of the reason why I wanted to make boundaries on this, we can do our ends last now. We will not apply product once we cross that boundary. So therefore, we're not over applying fertilizer. Once he goes across that boundary, it is shutting the flow of fertilizer off, even if he doesn't pick the strip-till bar right out of the ground. So that's saving us a little bit of product and keeping us from over applying. So that's good. Really pleased with how well the ag leader has worked on that side of things. Like I've never done that before, running it as a yield monitor in the combine. And yeah, it's working pretty well. So right there is about 30 inches. See if that's where it goes through at. Bam! So yeah, we're good. As long as we're within a ½ inch, that was maybe off a ½ inch or so, so I think we're gonna be good. A lot of gravel, a lot of gravel. So over here on this side of the driveway, we got a field that was corn last year. Now this one was not strip-tilled, we just dry spread this just because there's a lot of things in this field we didn't want to hit with a strip-till bar. But after we harvested the corn, we spread a cover crop in here and then ran over it with our Turbo Max. So here's our ryegrass stand. That's a little thin, but we didn't have a way to plant it, so this worked out pretty well. So we're a little up in the air on how to handle this ryegrass. We've got some agronomists telling us to spray it early. My thought is that if we spray it early, we're not going to get a whole lot of benefits. There's not a lot of organic matter there yet. I've got other cover croppers telling me that we need to let this grow until spray. Basically, they were saying plant into it, spray it right after we plant it. But I don't know. A little skeptical on that too. I don't know what the answer is. And to be honest, sometimes I don't know who to believe. I've always jokingly said that cover croppers are like the vegans of the ag community. But I do see some benefits of it, especially in certain soil types. Definitely don't think it's going to hurt anything right through here. There's not a lot of organic matter in this part of this field, so can't hurt. But I've also seen some fields of neighbors that had cover crops, they didn't get killed, and they got really big cover crops then. All right, BJ's going pretty good. Dad's taking the tank over. He's going to start doing some spraying. Once we get some fertilizer on the ground, I think I'm going to go run some bean ground with the oxbow. But until that fertilizer gets here, I'm going to get us all lunch. And I'm commandeering BJ's vehicle. Want Pepsi?
Yeah,
Okay. So a lot of people well, several people, have messaged me and asking me for barbecue stands in Chillicothe. So that one's called Corky Q's. It's just a roadside stand along the road that we take grain to. We eat there often. It is delicious, fast, and it's not the cheapest, but it's pretty good. Mission accomplished. BJ's well fed. So just in time, got our first load of fertilizer. BJ just ran out in the strip-till bar, so we ain't gonna be able to dump it all here. We can at least trip the gate and get some of the fertilizer on this clean concrete pad, and hopefully get the rest hauled over here pretty easy off the blacktop. Hey, your bucket's a little dirty. So since BJ's empty, we're gonna get him going again. But the strip-till bar has scales in it. Those scales have nothing to do with the rate, but it is nice to know how much product you have so you can figure out when you're gonna need more product. The scales need calibrated, so if we have time, we're gonna go try to calibrate them. I don't know if we're gonna have time because I can't remember when the gravel pit down the road closes and we need their scales. So our telehandler, it's working out really good for fertilizer. Only problem is that's an 8-foot bucket. We need a 7-footer to split our hoppers. So we are in the process of finding us a smaller bucket. I think what we're going to do is get the skid steer adapter. We have a small bucket that will work really well for this. It's just about impossible to use this 8-foot bucket. It's a 16-foot box. You got a foot overhang on each end. Yeah, we're blending a little bit of potash and mez there. We'll be all right. So far this telehandler's been a lot more useful than I was expecting it to be. Now I knew we were going to be using this telehandler for this task. What I didn't know is how handy that thing would be for trimming trees. If you've got a lot of field edges around tree lines, it's pretty often that you'll have tree limbs hanging out, stuff like that. We always take the excavator, the backhoe, and trim them back. That thing's a lot faster. It reaches as high with that, 20-foot or 22-foot boom, and it's quicker. So since we are going to calibrate those scales, I have just a little bit of potash in my other bin on the tender, so I'm gonna dump it in this floater over here, and yeah, then we'll get a weight. We got a gravel pit a couple miles down the road. We'll borrow their scales from them, and then yeah, we'll have that calibrated, and it'll be great. Alright, so we got the scales calibrated. All that is set on one of the hoppers. Now, each tank has its own scale. The other hopper is not empty yet, so he'll probably have enough in hopper number 1 to run the rest of the night, and then first thing tomorrow we will calibrate that one. Yeah, real happy with this hoop barn. Real happy how this worked. We were able to dump that big truck in here. I did not think that would be the case, but couldn't be happier with how that worked out. Also, I've been getting a lot of questions on the brand of this building and what kind of warranty there is. There's a 15-year warranty on the covering. At first, I think I said in one video there's a 30. I'm sorry, there's a 15. This is a con-top enclosure. I don't know what the snow load is, to be honest. In our area, we probably won't get that much snow to have to worry about it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, and we'll see you in the next one.